Why do financial crises happen? Why is our money slowly losing value? Why is there a real estate bubble? These examples seem to be far away from us. But it's not. Economic ups and downs, and exchange rate movements. These will directly affect our quality of life. Should you buy a house? Why do you need to invest? These questions will be solved after we understand economics. Get good answers. Hello everyone, welcome to Amazing Stories Reading Space. Today, I bring you this, Small Island Economics. The author of this book is Peter Schiff and Andrew Schiff brothers. Both of them are well-known figures on Wall Street. Served as the helm of many financial institutions. Among them, Peter even more accurately predicted the 2008 U.S. financial crisis. In the book, the author uses a vivid and interesting fable. Explains in simple terms how the economy works and how it evolves. Make it easy for novices to understand the content. As advertised in this book, this is a book suitable for reading from 9 to 90 years old. In fact, if explained properly, economics is also very easy to understand. Just like in recent years, in order to deal with the sudden economic crisis in the United States, the quantitative easing policy implemented seem esoteric. To put it bluntly, it's actually just trying to print money. In the next video, Amazing Stories will explain to you how an economy is born, to the rapid development of the economy, currency depreciation and inflation, and the housing bubble. These, the situations that are closely related to us in life, can be explained in the next video. So remember to watch until the end. You will benefit from. Until then, if you are interested in the content of various books, don't forget to subscribe to Amazing Stories channel and turn on the little bell. In this way, you can immediately get notified of new videos from Amazing Stories. Alright, let's get started. The story takes place on a small island. In the beginning, there were 3 people on this island: Albert, Baker, and Charlie. Life here is hard and sparsely populated, and the variety of food is very limited. All you can eat is fish. Fortunately, there are countless fish around the island. Moreover, both belong to the same kind. This fish is too big. 1 piece is enough for 1 person to eat for a whole day. 3 people, fishing with their hands every day. At the end of the day, each person can only catch 1 fish. This fish is enough to keep them from starving until tomorrow. Fishing became the entire economy of the island. Their daily life is getting up, fishing, sleeping, cycle day after day, until one day, Abel's current way of life feel very dissatisfied. He wants to break the existing cycle of life and improve the quality of life. So his mind raced. Eventually, came up with the idea of a fish trap. As long as he has this equipment, he can shorten the fishing time. Use the remaining time to do more valuable things. The next day, while Baker and Charlie were catching fish, Albert is engrossed in making his fishing gear. Everyone except Albert thinks he must be crazy. Because if you don't fish, you will starve for the rest of the day. In the end, Wang Tian pays off. At the end of the day, Albert completes his fishing gear. By self-sacrifice, starvation, he creates capital. In economics, capital refers to things that can create value for us. Here, the fishing trap is Albert's capital. The next day, Albert used the fishing gear. Soon, 2 fish were caught within an hour. This surprised the other 2. Because usually, they need to spend the whole day to catch a fish. From this moment on, the economy of the island changed dramatically. Albert boosts productivity. It's good for everyone. Since he only needs to eat 1 fish a day, Albert saves the other. From this moment on, Albert has savings. After seeing the amazing effectiveness of the fish trap, Baker and Charlie also want to make their own fishing gear. However, this generation also needs to starve for a day to make it. So they asked Albert to lend them the extra fish. Let them satisfy their hunger while making fishing gear. Albert is willing to lend the fish. But at the same time, he has to bear the risk of the other party turning his face and denying his account. So, he asked everyone to pay back one more fish as his compensation for the risk. At this time, it involves loans and interest. Albert, by lending 2 fish, successfully recovered 4 fish. This is a 100% return. With the help of a fishing tackle, everyone catches 2 fish a day. Island savings start to skyrocket. Since fishing time is greatly reduced, Baker devotes extra time to delving into cooking. Charlie built the first hut on the island. Albert began to study water vehicles. With the passage of time, all walks of life have begun to develop at a high speed. The 3 also spent more time designing a giant fishing net. This giant tool is capable of catching an average of 20 fish a day. And during the capture process, they don't need to use their hands at all. This gives them more time to develop the island's economy. Soon after, they invented surfboards, canoes, and log cabin building techniques. The standard of living has also been improved. Soon, news of the development of civilization on the island spread to the surrounding islands. In pursuit of a better life, many immigrants began to follow. They brought different knowledge from other islands. People began to clear the land and grow crops. As the population increased, the island's diverse economy also spawned many occupations, like cabin builders, shipbuilder, and cooks, etc. With the development of society and the popularization of commercialization, people urgently need a medium of exchange to facilitate various transactions. In other words, the island needs to have currency, because people on the island love to eat fish. Moreover, there is only one type of fish, so the fish became the accepted currency. After a period of development on the island, fish stocks are found to be increasing. The storage of fish has also gradually become a problem. Thus, this need prompted the birth of the bank. The island began to have a huge cold storage, used to accommodate everyone's savings. Subsequently, due to the increase in the number of fish in the cold storage, at this time, the administrator wants to use the fish in his hand to create more value. He started putting fish into projects like a water filtration plant on the island, or a water park, etc. From this moment on, the bank invests, and the prevalence of various investment activities. It also further stimulated the development of the island's economy. Islanders began to trade with people from surrounding islands, start trading items that can only be found on their respective islands. As more and more people, they came to realize that there needed to be an organization to manage operations on the island. Thus, the government was born. The government takes control of the island's economy, issued a paper currency called Yuedu reserve notes. This currency is more convenient than fish and has no fishy smell. In addition, every person who holds a Yuedu reserve coupon, you can also go to the bank to exchange for a fish at any time. In this way, paper currency has value. At this time, the island began to have currency in circulation. People can conduct various transactions more conveniently. This further stimulated the development of the island's economy. However, with the issuance of Yuedu reserve notes, the president of the island bank, starting to notice that things are not quite right. He believes that the printing of banknotes is very simple. If not properly controlled, there will soon be an oversupply of paper money. It is very important to control the number of banknotes within a specific range, because only in the bank, if there are enough fish to exchange, banknotes maintain a certain value. But unfortunately, the issuance of Yuedu reserve notes is increasing far beyond the number of bank memory fish. After the bank president found out, immediately warned the Speaker of the Kojima Senate. However, the island is developing rapidly. At this time, a large amount of currency is needed to stimulate consumption and run various infrastructure projects. Regarding the warning from the president of the bank, the Speaker had a countermeasure early on. He summoned a group of top scientists and technicians. Presented his solution to the bank president. I saw the technicians took out 3 fish. And some fish bones collected around the island. After their skilled cutting, sewing and splicing, technicians, using the original 3 fish, made 4 fishes with good looks. This makes the president of the bank look stupid. Using this method, new fish can be continuously produced. Make sure there are always enough reserves in the bank. The cunning speaker also said, residents will never find out what's wrong with the fish. And this kind of fish officially made by the government. Named, official fish. However, since the official fish is a patchwork fish, so the volume will be smaller than ordinary fish. Every year, to stimulate the economy, the government will issue excess, Yubang reserve coupons. Caused fishermen to catch real fish at a faster rate, far below the speed at which banknotes are issued. At this time, in order to make up for the gap, technicians had to water to make more official fish. And the size of the official fish is also 10% smaller than the real fish from the beginning. Shrunk down to 20%, 30%, even 40%. The size of the official fish is getting smaller and smaller. Soon after, the inhabitants of the island, eating 1 fish a day makes me feel full. Most people need to eat 2 fish a day. And because fish is the currency of the island, therefore, the price of everything must rise accordingly. In this way, the lost value of the fish itself can be compensated. As a result, it caused the problem of fish expansion. This situation, if reflected in our lives, is inflation. As a result, the currency value is getting lower and lower, and the price of goods is getting higher and higher. However, due to the rate at which the value of the currency declines, usually relatively slow, also, in some years because of economic stimulus and increased productivity, will have an offsetting effect. In this way, the residents of the island will. There is an illusion that you can't feel the expansion of the fish. However, 2 things are certain. 1, the official fish never gets bigger, it just gets smaller and smaller. 2nd, the prices on the island are unlikely to fall any further. With the rapid economic development of the island, various investment projects have sprung up like mushrooms after rain. However, when banks examine these projects, will also assess its risk. They want to find a relatively stable project to develop. In the end, the bank focused on the island's long sleeping small loan market, because as the economy takes off, people began to have requirements for the quality of life. They will seek bigger and better looking houses. The bank has spotted this point and has focused on promoting the field of real estate loans. In addition, the Kojima Council announced the money earned from buying and selling cottages will be tax-free, and loan interest can also be deducted from the annual fish tax. Therefore, driven by bank loans and government policies, island cabin construction, sale and renovation business began to develop vigorously. Islanders are jumping on the cottage buying wave. Among them, some people bought for self-occupation. Some people bought it for investment. As a result, when demand exceeds supply, prices rise. This is the eternal truth of the market. As a result, house prices began to skyrocket. In addition, there are also funds from outside the island flowing into the small island's loan market. This greatly increases the supply of credit, lowering interest rates further. This represents more islanders, able to get loans easily. In such an environment where everyone is scrambling to buy a house, everybody forgets caution, and housing prices are constantly driving up, hitting new highs repeatedly. As a result, the development of the situation is faster than expected. People know they can't afford cabins anymore, but they believe that the purchased house can bring them rich returns after a few years. Such a good prospect, coupled with a series of incentive policies from the government. No one can resist this temptation. However, the reality is cruel. Thriving in the cottage market, when the desire to buy is extremely high, The cycle of an industry has often come to an end when the price of the hut reaches its apex. Many times, a failed housing project. It is enough to form the tipping point of the collapse of the industry. A construction project that obviously looks perfect, but no one wants to buy. After investors saw the failure of the construction project, began to look at the industry in their hands, fear begins to spread. Soon, most people realize the cabin industry has reached its peak. They decide to sell the cottage and make the difference. Wait for better opportunities in the future and reinvest. But the problem is, everyone has to sell, so who is going to buy? At this time, the herd effect occurred. Everyone is rushing to sell the huts in their hands one after another. This further stimulated the rapid decline in property prices. Formed a vicious circle. At this time, the chalet property bubble officially broke. But it's not over yet. Since no one wants to invest in real estate, 'cause construction-related industries also in trouble. This triggers a domino effect. Businesses began to close one after another, and the unemployment rate rose rapidly. The market has become like a pool of stagnant water. Finally, the island's economy ushered in a low tide. In fact, not only real estate. In all economic fields, there are so-called cycles. After the peak of a cycle, next, there will be a period of sluggish rectification. At this time, it is necessary to rely on the government to implement different policies. Plus banks revise various interest rates. Let the economy slowly recover during the consolidation period. Prepare for the next economic takeoff. The above is the island from scratch. Economy thrives. After reaching the peak, the process of weakening begins. This shows an economic cycle. Amazing Stories believes that economics is something everyone needs to know. Because it doesn't matter if you like it or you don't like it. We all live in a society that is highly linked to economic development. In our life, all kinds of big and small things, more or less involves economic theory. Therefore, knowledge in this area is very important. It can help us make better choices when necessary. However, this aspect of knowledge is not necessarily taught in schools. Only by taking specific courses can you have the opportunity to learn. I think it's a pity. However, the book, Small Island Economics, through lively and interesting stories, let me understand the operation and development of the economy. Let boring knowledge become vivid. Amazing Stories strongly recommends that everyone can buy this book and read it. You will benefit a lot from it. And what do you think of the contents of the book? Welcome to tell me in the message area. Well, that's all for today's sharing. If you think my content is helpful to you, just remember to like, comment, and share. Finally, don't forget to subscribe to Amazing Stories channel. I will continue to bring you more wonderful books. Bye bye.